Hi there, welcome to I'll Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Aries energy. And for this round, we're going to do a 10 card spread. And like usual, we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because everyone has free will. Not everybody harnesses high vibe Aries energy. Some people harness a more worldly focused Aries energy. Some people more shadowy. We've all got our dualistic nature. We all have our worldly nature. Our more immature, self-centered, egotistical, lazy, defensive, prideful, envious, jealous, insecure nature. And, you know, in life we learn lessons in life, and sometimes some people have learned some more lessons than other people about how to play nicely with other people, how to treat other people the way they like to be treated. High vibe energy is open to love, and love is the guiding factor for the decisions they make in their life. And some people might make decisions where it's always more about them. Or, you know, if they got some shadowy traits and characteristics, they don't want to see the truth of it, and they keep having those shadowy traits or characteristics, like bossy or controlling or self-centered, whatever it is, you know. And so people are going to harness this energy and will be taking different action in their life because of what motivates and inspires them. Aries energy is about the self, and some people are still really just about themselves. High vibe Aries energy is where you have learned these lessons in life. You've grown, you've healed, you've matured. When you're in relationships with other people, when you have to make decisions, you make decisions that are best taking everybody into account. But it is based on truth and love, and it's not creating an illusion in the world. It's being truthful. It's being honest. You know, if we were to have people be in a relationship with us and we know, say we don't love them, well then those people should be in a relationship with someone who does love them. So anyway, high vibe people are going to try to make decisions aligned with their truth, being just, being fair, having hope and faith and belief in their dreams. Some people aren't motivated by love. They get hurt doing love. They don't want to do it. Maybe live a more emotionally shallow, superficial life, and they're okay with that because we are emotionally complex human beings, and some people don't want to get involved with those. Some people are more about looking like a boss in the world. The most important thing is their status or their ego or their image or being indulged. So we all tap into Aries energy, kind of what motivates and drives us in the world, what our dreams are. So listen to your intuition about where you're at in the story. Listen to your intuition about other people. And the truth sets us free. But we have to be bold and brave enough to not give up on our dreams, to keep kind of taking action that we can be proud of, and not let our more immature egoic nature run our life. So we'll get one more card here, and then we're going to get an oracle card out of the energy oracle deck. See what it wants to add to the story. Okay. We have the woman holding heart and the angel of love. And the reason for those coming out is patience. You know, high vibe energy is about tempering your more immature, worldly, egoic nature and having self-discipline, being patient. You know, this to me, it looks like a man dressed up like a lady. And the whole thing is, you know, we all take action in masculine energy, but what's the truth of why we do what we do? And that can be represented by the feminine figures. You know, some people do try to present themselves as more loving than they are, like to be viewed as an angel of love, and they could just hope that when people realize they're kind of putting on a show, that they're, whether they're male or female, they really aren't driven and motivated by love, but they view themselves as a loving person. They want other people to view them as a loving person, but they really could be more indulging themselves in a relationship, and they just hope that when people find out the truth, that they'll just balance out their emotions about the fact that they're in a relationship with someone who created an illusion. And again, some people like to play that role, in people's lives, but it's just not authentically who they are. They have other reasons for getting in a relationship, like, I'm fearful, I'm insecure, I feel unstable, it's good for my ego and my image, I'm able to indulge in a relationship more for the money or the status or the materialism. And other people are balanced, because the Temperance card can talk about balance, with this looking like a masculine energy but also feminine. We do have our more worldly nature is considered our more egoic or masculine nature, and our emotionally intuitive, loving, creative, inspired nature can be considered our more emotionally creative, inspired nature, which is considered feminine energy. And when we are a blend of both, then we have love is what's guiding our life. We aren't letting just our ego or our emotional nature run our life. We're a blend of both, and we are balanced. And then we're making decisions in our life from love and hope and faith and belief in our dreams versus our ego and our fear, or something like that. So we'll see how that comes up in the reading. The overarching reason for the reading is the Magician card. We're either creating an illusion in the world, or we really are who we say we are. And we do believe that, we're not using the gifts that we were given. This shows, the Magician talks about people having the 4 elements. In tarot, we have the 4 suits: our heart, our mind, our creativity, our passionate nature, our worldly nature. Do we use those things to try to manipulate people? Or are we using them like for good versus being like a scam artist, right? So what is going on in Aries energy? We have a card not showing itself. We have the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. Sometimes we've been in relationships with people. Life's about learning lessons. And we could have been in relationships with people who harness shadowy Leo, shadowy Virgo, shadowy Aries energy. They're more motivated and inspired by their ego, and to indulge in these things of the world, make their life more about the things of the world, who try to manipulate people. And sometimes those people get in a mismatched relationship, and they get in a relationship with someone who harnesses high vibe Leo, Virgo, and Aries energy. People who are loving, authentic, warm, self-disciplined, have tempered their more ego nature, and they've learned lessons in life, and they're stable, and they're grounded, and insightful, and emotionally mature. And sometimes we get in relationships with people who really aren't on the same page as us, but we don't know it. And the Queen of Wands, fire energy, the queens can talk about how we think and feel, and then the masculine energies can be how we present ourselves in the world and the type of action that we're taking, because we can all present ourselves in the world any way we want. That's why the masculine figures in tarot can represent people operating more from ego. But how do they really think and feel? People are right now taking action in the world to invest in something based on their truth of how they think and feel. Some from ego, trying to manipulate people, more about themselves, more about these things of the world. Other people are being authentic and truthful, and that's what motivates and inspires them. And we all could have been in relationships, and some people right now are getting in relationships where they think they both harness this energy in the same way. And for some people, we do. For some people, we don't. The Page of Swords. The Page of Swords can represent that some people do have that hopeful, believing nature. The Page of Swords represents air sign energy of Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. In high vibe, people are aligned with hope and faith and belief, justice, fairness, having hope and faith and belief in their dreams. But other people might be more codependent, more immature in their thinking, logic, and reasoning, because they have some lessons to learn in life still. And it's still more about them, maybe more about looking like a shining star in the world, wanting to be the center of attention in someone's life, where people kind of indulge them in more immature behavior, not requiring them to grow up and mature themselves. And they could be kind of egotistical and self centered. So, some people are in a mismatched relationship. Other people have already gotten out of a mismatched relationship with someone, and they learned the lesson they were meant to learn from those people. And it's like, yep, I didn't realize that person was kind of more immature, or those shadowy things I mentioned. And I learned the lesson I was meant to learn from it. And I'm moving forward and probably not communicating with them anymore unless absolutely necessary. Like if it's a family member, maybe at birthday parties or holidays. And then we have two more cards not showing themselves. And then we have the Five of Wands and the Magician card. So life is all about learning these lessons, and the Queen of Wands can talk about learning to listen to your intuition, in our fire energy. The Five of Wands is, I view it as Leo energy also. We do have all these things that we want to indulge in the world in our life. Sometimes our inner child nature we rejected, and we didn't make the best decisions in our life, because we were kind of wanting to go indulge in these things of the world. And even though it could have caused us inner conflict, that's what we wanted to go invest our time, energy, and effort into, because we were attracted to people. We wanted to go indulge in those things, and we go through that throughout our life. But in relation to some other people, we can all have been immature, but we could have all known people who are more immature. We could have been kind of impulsive. We could have known people who are more impulsive. We could have gotten caught up in overindulging in things in the world. We knew people who were more overindulgent in things in the world. We just kind of want to be in relationships with people who are kind of on the same page as us. And if we're willing to get out of our ego to learn lessons in life, we realize what things we need to quit doing because all it did was cause us inner conflict. And maybe some, because the Page of Swords can be like our inner child truth, and loving ourselves and believing in ourselves and treating ourselves with love and compassion and forgiveness. And we have to learn lessons about doing that too. I think learning to love yourself is the hardest lesson to learn, and hopefully by the time we're in our 30s and 40s, hopefully somewhere along the way we learn to get out of indulging our more immature, egoic, worldly nature. And hopefully we've learned some lessons in life, and we've tempered our ego nature, and we've emotionally grown and matured and learned some lessons in life about how we want to live our life, having been in these different jobs and relationships, helping us get more and more clear about what our truth is and what we do want to invest our time, energy, and effort into, and what we don't. And as people do that work within themselves, the fives can talk about change, where I'm not the same person I was before. Who I was 5 years ago and what used to drive and motivate me, what drove and motivate me at 18, 25, 35, depending on what age I am and the lessons I've learned in life, I'm not the same person. And maybe now I have learned to believe that if I am more confident within myself in high vibe Leo energy, and I've offered myself love and compassion and forgiveness for the mistakes I've made. I've offered love and compassion and forgiveness to people in my life. They got their own lessons to learn, and I'm not going to take it personally. They are who they are. I am who I am. And I just see the truth of it. We're all at different stages of life. Some people are warm and loving and giving and just and fair, and we like being in their company, and other people can be a little bossy or controlling or manipulative or prideful or something. And we don't really like being in relationships with people like that. So we're not the same person we were before. And I think high vibe energy is learning to realize that all these aspects of myself are important, Because how many times when we were younger, oh my gosh, I love them. And that was the most important thing in our life. We were letting our heart, our more emotional nature, run our life, and the other aspects of our life could have went in the toilet. And then we could have gotten where we let our mind and our defensiveness run our life, or our fear, insecurity. And then other aspects of our life went in the toilet because that was the most pressing thing. And the whole thing is, we've all got these lessons to learn. And we kind of do go off into the ditch in our life. And it's all trying to help us learn lessons from those life experiences, to love and believe in ourselves, emotionally grow and mature ourselves, and to keep changing. You know, it's kind of like the nesting dolls over there. We were 15. Then we wanted to be like an 18-year-old. We had to let go of our more immature ways of being to be like an 18-year-old. And then we were going to become 21. We had to let go of some of our more immature ways of viewing life, face our fears, and believe I do have the capability to manifest at this next level of life. And I think that's what high vibe people do. And then they take the lessons they've learned to love themselves in the Two of Cups and align with their more, life's an adventure in the Eight of Wands of Sagittarius energy. Life is about learning these lessons. Not everything I go pursue in life is going to work out the way I want, because I'm dealing with all these other people that are also trying to get clear about what their truth is and what their truth isn't. And I learned that some people are motivated and inspired by love in the Chariot card, which is Cancer energy. Some people are more emotionally balanced than other people. Some people are more inspired by love. Other people could operate more from their worldly egoic nature. The Five of Wands can be people who are quite competitive in the world, even competitive with their friends and family members and romantic partners. If people are in their ego, everybody can seem like the competition because they kind of haven't done this work within themselves to grow and mature themselves. So it's always trying to build their self-esteem off of I'm better than you, where really it should be, you've got your traits and qualities and characteristics and unique talent, skills, and interests. I've got mine. They're different. You be a great whatever, lawyer, accountant, singer, uh, more socially outgoing. And maybe that's not my things, but I have my own things, and everybody's different. And high vibe people see the truth of that. We're not all the same. We all can have more assets and gifts and talents in certain areas than other people. And that's just a fact of life. And high vibe people see the truth of it. And I'm not going to get my ego about it. Yeah, I'm glad they're a great singer. I'm glad they're doing really well being a math guru, or whatever it is that people do. That's their thing. Good for them. You go, be a change agent in the world. I'm going to do my thing. It might not be as grand or spectacular, but that's my lot in life. And I'm going to work with what I've got to do the best I can do in my life. And what interests me and what motivates and inspires me is different than what motivates and inspires you. And that's okay. We're all different people. And we all have different things that motivate and inspire us. And sometimes the things that we can enjoy and like in life from a place of love is different than what other people enjoy and what motivates them. It's like, you like mechanics, good for you. I like gardening. You do your thing, I'll do my thing. It's kind of living our authentic life, being inspired to not drive my life off into the ditch. The Chariot card talks about the fact of acknowledging I have this dualistic nature. And if I don't want my more immature, worldly, egotistical, shadowy nature in the driver's seat of my life, I better take the reins of my dualistic nature and be inspired to heal and grow and mature myself. The Knight of Pentacles in Virgo energy is about kind of doing that inner work to look at those things that we might have preferred to keep hidden in the dark. And also to see the truth about different people in the world. I can learn not everybody's motivated by love. I can learn that some people are very prideful or manipulative. and I've learned those lessons. I'm not as naive and gullible as I was before. And I'm not going to be in my ego about it. I keep staying like high vibe Queen of Wands in how we think and feel. I choose to stay in life giving energy. I could be in my ego. I could be competitive. I could be jealous, envious, vengeful. I could be all those things if I want. But that's not in my free will. That's not what I choose to invest my time, energy, and effort in. That's not good soil to build my life on. So some people did this inner work that people don't know about. There could be people in your life who see you've changed. They don't understand how you did it. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But you took the reins of your dualistic nature and said, I'm going to let my more hopeful, believing, loving, emotionally mature nature be in the driver's seat of my life, and my more immature, worldly nature has to sit in the back seat. And I will temper my own fears and insecurities and all those things so that I can keep moving forward. The Chariot talks about moving forward victoriously because you're operating from love and balance. But other people invest in loving their kind of more immature nature. And I want to look victorious and successful. And I will use my gifts and talents and skills and my charm and my emotions and my sexuality and my looks and my money. I'll use all those things to try to manipulate people to get them to move forward with me in a relationship if it would make me look victorious and successful. We're either in relationships because of truth and love, or we're in a relationship for some other reason. What is it? Aries energy is fire sign energy. What is it that drives and motivates us? Lust, greed, pride, ego, indulgence, or growing and maturing ourselves to our full potential so we can be proud of ourselves. And having a balance of both so we're not tipped out of balance, making our life so much about us or these things of the world. Yes, I want these things of the world. But yes, I also want loving, nurturing, authentic, just and fair and balanced relationships in my life. I'm not willing to sacrifice that for these things of the world, but other people are. Some people think life is all just about manipulating people. And they could think everybody is just trying to manipulate other people, that everybody's just trying to create an illusion that they're this more emotionally stable, balanced, mature person, because that's how they view life. And that's how they live life. And then we get in relationships with people, and somewhere along the way, we start to have some conflict and fighting in a relationship because one person is being authentic, having that hopeful, believing nature and love. And then they kind of realize that the other person might be in it out of ego reasons or competitive reasons or fear or insecurity or codependency reasons. And it's like, wait a minute. Stop right there. Before we move forward anymore, I want to know what your truth is. Are we going to move forward inspired by love or indulgence? Or indulging you or making it more about these things of the world? So let's go see what these two cards are. The Ace of Cups and the Queen of Cups. Some people are no longer kind of like the Queen of Cups, emotionally indulging their more immature, egoic, worldly nature. And even your own shadow nature within all of us, if we do that and we choose to learn lessons in life and love ourselves and be inspired to move forward in an emotionally balanced, loving way, yeah, our own ego shadow nature doesn't like it. And our own egoic shadow nature keeps trying to cause us inner conflict and keeps trying to manipulate us. Because our shadow, it's like we have the tree of life and the seeds of both planted within us. Our more immature nature can't live life unless we let our more immature nature in the driver's seat of our life. So it's always a part of us always trying to manipulate us. And just like we have our own shadowy nature, we also have people in the world who are more shadowy, who want to be in a relationship with us, and also could kind of be in their ego that we've changed, and we're moving forward in a more emotionally balanced, loving way. Maybe before we weren't. We all grow up in the world. We all kind of get manipulated by these things in the world. We've all been more immature and impulsive and letting our worldly egoic nature run our life. And there's people in the world who are like that would like to be in a relationship with some people, but they could know that you've changed. And for some, you're no longer emotionally investing in those people anymore. You could be very loving people. And maybe there was some people in your life who thought they could manipulate you. Shadowy Leo energy. Well, just shadowy energy in general. You're either being truthful and honest and just and fair, or you're trying to manipulate people. And you could have had some people in your life that their way of operating in the world, if they're not going to be more authentic and loving and just and fair in a relationship, it is kind of trying to manipulate loving people. Oh, let me try to get you in a relationship with me. I bet you'll put lots of work and effort to make this relationship work. I bet you'll put lots of work and effort to make me grow up and mature myself and look at life differently. And as long as you keep doing that, I'll keep staying in a relationship with you. It works for me. You're a loving, nurturing, supportive, encouraging person who maybe doesn't act petty and envious and jealous and manipulative and self-centered and egotistical like me. This is great. I get to be a shadowy person, and you're someone who is much more mature than I am. Let me try to use the love that you have for me to keep manipulating you. And for some people, that's what's going on right now in a relationship. And, it can be because we're in that more codependent energy. I was looking outside of myself for someone to love me and validate my worth and value. And when I was in that energy, I got in a relationship with someone who was happy I was in that codependent energy. That's perfect, pumpkin. You stay in that energy. And I'm going to indulge myself in a relationship with you. Because you kind of haven't learned to love yourself. To, get in the driver's seat of your own life from love. You look to me to love you. Perfect. It's like I can be God in your life. You haven't learned to love yourself. Wonderful. There's some people right now trying to get people to move forward in a relationship with them. Keep staying in a relationship with them. Get in a relationship with them. Hiding the fact that they don't really do love. They'll have sex with people. They'll use their emotions manipulatively in a relationship. But I view the Queen of Cups as Scorpio energy. High vibe Scorpio is people who want to be in deep, meaningful relationships. Some other people harness their Scorpio energy in a more worldly, shadowy way. I use my emotions to try to manipulate people in a relationship. I'm kind of more emotionally shallow and superficial. I like to indulge myself in the relationship. It's good for my ego and my image. I like being in relationships. Maybe makes me feel more balanced, but I don't really do love. I like to create the illusion of love. I might like to present myself as loving to you, and when we go out in the world, I present ourselves as these loving people, but eventually people have inner conflict with it and kind of feel manipulated because they do feel the person is kind of more emotionally shallow and superficial, and when we're in our more worldly, egoic nature, we can kind of be defensive to really being more authentic. And then we can feel like we are in a relationship with someone who's just creating an illusion of being a loving, more stable, grounded person than they really are. But they never really invest in love emotionally. Like they reject their inner child nature. They keep it locked inside. Oh, you can't go out to play, honey. You might get hurt. So your ego's going to run your life. And you can look out through the eyeballs, but your more defensive egoic nature is going to keep you safe. And we're just going to indulge in relationships and not really authentically invest in someone. We'll have sex with them. We'll be kind of loving and encouraging to try to make this relationship move forward, but we're really not being authentic. We're letting our false persona, our cardboard cutout person live your life, because it's too dangerous of a world for you to go out there, pumpkin. So I'm really operating from ego, whether I'm male or female, but I'm trying to present myself as loving to get in relationships with loving people, hoping that even when they do maybe see the truth, that because we're already in a relationship, we've already gotten married, maybe had kids, or you got this job and you started working here, I'm hoping that once you find out the truth that we harness those energies differently, and I really don't do deep, meaningful relationships. I have inner conflict about that. I invest in loving people, and then I want to move forward with them in a relationship. I like being in relationships with loving people. The only problem is the people who are authentically loving are in a relationship with someone who's defensive. Well, so the shadowy person kind of gets their dream to come into reality. Oh my gosh, this is great. I'm defensive, or I'm immature, or I'm manipulative, or I'm competitive. This is good for my ego and image. I look like I got it going on in the world. Look, I got a loving person to be in a relationship with me. This is great. And they just balance out their emotions about the fact that they're in a relationship with someone who isn't authentically loving. Creates the illusion of being loving, but really lives more from their egoic mind nature. It's all like a construct of self to get people to be in a relationship with them. Some people it causes them inner conflict. Some people it is causing them inner conflict. And they could see being in this relationship moving forward, someone's more creative and inspired and loving and giving in a relationship with someone who's kind of more about their worldly nature and these things of the world. And it causes inner conflict. I mean, both people can kind of have love for each other. It's just more shadowy energy is where it kind of stays the same. It doesn't heal and kind of grow and mature itself over time to become more authentically loving, because that's not the truth of who they are. And if someone who's more worldly focused gets in a relationship with someone, initially they can think they're all on the same page, but as time goes by, or if one of them does learn to love their inner child nature and feel more confident within themselves and more inspired to live their authentic life and dump some of their baggage, well, then that person's changed. And then when one person in a relationship dynamic changes, the whole relationship dynamic changes. The high vibe people probably offer love and encouragement to the people they're in a relationship with. Aren't you happy? I freed myself from some of my past pain and heartbreak, some of my self-limiting beliefs. You could even do it hoping that the people in your life will be proud of you. And then they're like, I don't like this. You're different. You're not the same person you were before. And when I invested in you, you were like this. And I thought we were going to keep moving forward like this. But now you're different. And then, as you heal and grow and mature yourself, right? You view life differently. You view yourself differently. You view relationships differently. I mean, you could still be inspired by love. You could love those people, but you want a more emotionally balanced, inspired, loving relationship where before, that maybe you were just enjoying the relationship. You weren't maybe thinking of doing things differently either. But when you change, the whole situation changes. There's some people that are happy and inspired that you've changed. Some of them are happy if you got out of a different relationship. Now they could be in a relationship with you. But the thing is, if you are a loving, nurturing person who's inspiring and stable and grounded, and you're balanced. You don't try to like manipulate and control people. You're not off the rails and doing all sorts of crazy shit. There's going to be a whole bunch of different people that would like to maybe be in a relationship with you. Some shadowy people, some high vibe people. And now, hopefully, through your life experience, you've learned to also listen to your intuition instead of your more impulsive, lustful, whatever nature run your life. And as you meet people and as people approach you, I think, the Five of Swords the Five of Wands, the Wands can be about communication. The Pentacles can talk about bringing something into the 3D world. I'm willing to get to know people. I gotta find out kind of what drives and motivates them, and I might take time to just get to know them before I really invest in a more loving relationship with them or date them. I might just want to get to know them to find out what kind of drives and motivates them and what their goals are, and try to kind of get a sense if they're more trying to manipulate, prideful, defensive, immature, whatever. If they seem to be on the same page as you, they would be people you would invest in getting to know more. From the 5 to the 8 is the 3 of Wands about a dream. If everybody seems to be on the same page, we kind of are driven, and the 3 of Wands is Aries energy, that we kind of are motivated and inspired by truth and love and justice and fairness, an emotionally balanced, loving relationship. Well, then we'll move forward with that dream. But if someone isn't, if I had been thinking maybe a dream could come into reality with them, then I'm going to take back that 3 of Wands and I'm going to wish them peace and I'm going to move on because we're not on the same page. Sometimes there's we can be in a relationship because, again, we live in a world of temptation, basically. There could be some people that got in a new relationship, whether they're high vibe, worldly, or shadowy. And there could be other people in the world that are in their ego about it. They could have inner conflict that some other people seem to be moving forward in life in a way that looks victorious and successful because maybe they're not. Some of those people might communicate with someone to try to, or they're just moving forward themselves successfully in a way that seems either successfully or emotionally balanced and loving. People could reach out to people to see what their truth is. Are you in a relationship? Are you not in a relationship? Is that relationship aligned with your truth? Or were you kind of in your ego and competitive nature when you got in it? Is this your truth? Isn't it? And then if some people do reach out to people, some of those people could have some inner conflict, especially if they are kind of creating an illusion. I could have been in my ego because some other relationship didn't work out, and I want to be in a relationship. Maybe someone who doesn't quite seem to be on the same page as me, but we get along, maybe it'll work out. And then some of those people are moving forward in that type of relationship. But they could be hiding that they could feel the other person's kind of immature or is kind of indulging them or a little more emotionally shallow or superficial or ego-based. And if some of those people, it could make them wonder, what am I going to invest in? And at any time in our life, we kind of have to take a pause. Am I going to keep moving forward, living my life the way I'm living it? The people I'm hanging out with, the job that I'm in, the romantic relationship I'm in? Is this aligned with my truth? Again, we can all get in a relationship, fire energy, we can be drawn and attracted to someone. But then as we maybe get to know them, maybe as more time goes by, and we have things to negotiate in relationships to See if we can get past the first couple dates, the first month, the first year, to see if we keep being more compatible. And then it could get to the point where, are we ready to bring that dream into reality? Are we both on the same page? Why do you want to move forward in it? Why do I want to move forward in it? Am I starting to have inner conflict because I've learned more about the people I've been in a relationship with, or did they change and they're not who I thought they were when I got into a relationship? And did they change for the better or for the worse? Am I okay with it? Not okay with it? And so some people right now, the queens can just represent how we think and feel. Some people do have that hopeful, believing nature in love. If they are with the people they are, friends and family and all those people, and romantic relationships, I think high vibe people are going to offer those people in their life that they think they kind of have some, if they think they have some inner conflict with them, to see if they would be willing to move forward with them in this more hopeful, believing, authentic, loving way. And if they're not, then they're going to have to consider that. Am I still willing to invest in someone who kind of maybe wants to keep moving forward the way we have been, but I could feel like it's more indulging in the relationship and it's more for the ego or the image or the status? Or are they willing to, if they've been kind of defensive and had inner conflict about love, are they willing to work together with me to have a more authentic, loving relationship or not? And if they're not, or they seem to have a problem that I'm even bringing it up, or if I feel like they're trying to manipulate me, I might just decide I'm leaving, And there could be some people have already left behind because those people had inner conflict about maybe stepping outside their comfort zone to look at life as an adventure to be lived. It's letting love and intuition guide you in a relationship. And some people are like, what? I have this certain way of viewing life and a certain way I want to live life and a certain way of viewing life. And I don't really do that. And if that's the case, some people aren't communicating with or emotionally investing in those people anymore. They're not the same person. They realize they have different things they're motivated and inspired by, and they're moving forward in life and communicating with other people. Some people have already gotten in new relationships or loving the people in their life. If they're not in a romantic relationship, I'm just motivated to keep moving forward in my life, and some of these people won't be coming with, because they don't want to see the truth that it's about love and moving forward in life. The fives can, conflict over change. Some people have a really big thing about change. I have this way of living life. This is the way I want to keep moving forward. I want to do things the way I have always done it. And I could be caught up in the world, manipulated by the world, manipulated by my ego, manipulated by my lust or my greed or my immature nature. And that's how I want to keep moving forward. And they'll probably go try to find someone else to be in a relationship with them that they think will just balance out their emotions about moving forward like that in life. And there's other people who have already seen the truth. I can't live my life like that. I got to move on, I don't find it very loving. It might have a lot of stability. It might have security. I could love you. Maybe if it's a romantic relationship, some things there could be good. But it's like, I want a more emotionally balanced, loving relationship. And some people are getting out of those type of relationships. And we just have to be careful at people we meet. Were they the more emotionally manipulative, defensive person who's coming to get in a relationship with me? Or are they the person who is the more loving, nurturing person? and balanced person that was in a relationship with someone that maybe they felt was a little shadowy. And sometimes it's just differences in how you want to move forward in life. I'm motivated and inspired to travel around the country or the world, and you're not. I might want a big town. You might want a small town. There's all those subtle differences with people, but sometimes the biggest confusing issues are when we're really kind of mismatched in if we're really motivated and inspired by just and fair and authentic and loving relationships or not. So, what's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Aries energy that they might not see coming up? The Four of Swords and the High Priestess because of the Star card. For people who had to get out of some relationships that kind of became unbalanced or mismatched over time, you will heal. It is a process. We can initially feel something's not right. And then we can have inner conflict because, again, we'd really like those relationships to work out. But as we're moving forward, if we're putting in work and effort to manifest this new dream, and we have communicated with people in truth and love, and those people are staying back here and not working with us to bring that dream into reality, we can't keep staying in our inner conflict and illusion about it. We have to either accept the fact that maybe if I communicated with someone and either kind of inferred or directly right out said, that I think, I can't, well, maybe more inferred that I got out of a relationship and I'm moving forward in life differently. It's kind of like, do you want to hang out? And if we communicated to someone and that person keeps moving forward with the relationship they're in, we either have to assume that the relationship that they're in, if we find out they're in one, or they're not. If they're not putting in work and effort to work with us on our dream, they're either completely happy with their life and the relationships they're in, or there is the possibility that if we told them our truth and what we want to manifest, they might be like, yeah, no, that's not what I want to manifest. And I'm going to go find someone else, or I'm already in a relationship with someone, and maybe I am more worldly or shadowy. So either way, whatever happens, the high vibe people stay in life-giving energy. They deal with the truth. They don't stay in their ego and in illusion about it. They deal with the truth. And out of loving themselves, they keep moving forward in an emotionally balanced way, listening to their intuition, believing the divine knows what kind of drives and motivates everybody and what people's dreams are and what we want to manifest. And, it's trusting and believing the divine has a plan for our life. And we're just going to keep, listening to our intuition about the people we are in relationships with. If we did get in a new relationship, if we are in a relationship, maybe some of the people we could be having some conflict with are other people outside of our relationship. And we keep moving forward, staying focused on truth and love and listening to our intuition and believing in our dreams. What about the people who might harness a more worldly, shadowy Aries energy? What could be coming up for them that they don't see coming? The Five of Pentacles because of the Six of Pentacles. So the Five of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles is Taurus energy. We all tap into Taurus energy, and it is about our philosophy of life. And are we willing to get out of our ego to admit we have growing and healing and maturing to do, that there are sometimes people who aren't investing in us because they are trying to manipulate us, and we need to see the truth of that. If people were really wanting to be in a relationship with us, or they're fearful, or they're insecure, or whatever, they would get in a relationship with us. And if they're not, they're maybe not on the same page as us. So, we wish people peace. So we all have our Taurus energy of philosophy of life. But what some people who are possibly trying to manipulate someone right now, or acting in shadowy ways with people in a relationship, what they don't see coming is some of those people are going to see the truth. The Five of Pentacles moves away from the Four of Pentacles. There was a foundation that we wanted to hold on to, but we offer truth and love to it to get people to move forward with us in truth and love in an emotionally balanced, loving way. And if the people we're in a relationship with have conflict about that, we kind of see the truth of it. We might repeat that pattern a long time because we can all want to kind of stay in denial of the truth in order to make that relationship work. And some people are doing that right now. I'm going to keep moving forward with them because I still don't want to see the truth. Because that would mean I would have to distance myself from them, and I'd have to get in the driver's seat of my own life. And when we're ready to do that, we will. But there's going to be some people who distance themselves from them, even if it's not their romantic partner, But there's going to be other people who see the truth, that their philosophy of life, the high vibe people want to move forward in equal give and take, and high vibe Taurus, people acting with character and integrity. But some people can harness all these zodiac signs in a more shadowy way, and their Taurus energy in a more worldly, shadowy way. And it could be just people who I don't want to really invest in my emotions. The Two of Cups is Cancer energy, also about love of self and love of others. And some people are like, nope, I operate from my ego. I had free will to pick that, but in my Gemini energy, I decided to invest kind of in loving my more immature worldly nature. And I don't really do love. And because of that, they're going to have people who move away from them and are going to quit emotionally kind of indulging them in a more stubborn, worldly, prideful way of being. And some of them did not see that coming because these people, like other people, they always are manipulated by these things of the world or ego or image. And they're surprised that people would move away from something that could look, by worldly standards, very victorious, even if it has some problems or isn't necessarily love. They would maybe stay in a relationship, just because it looks good by worldly standards. But some other people aren't willing to stay in a relationship for those reasons, because they feel left out in the cold. I'm exchanging time, energy, and effort with someone, and I feel left out in the cold because they're not very loving authentically. They might try to have a lot of sex with me if that's what they think will keep me in the relationship, but if I don't really feel like you're emotionally connecting with me and feel like you're kind of more trying to manipulate or control me or tempt me with these things of the world, I want to be in a relationship with someone who's healed past pain and heartbreak so they can be more inspired to do love. And then eventually, these people, if they keep making their philosophy of life more about these things of the world, there's some people, the Five of Pentacles can be about a lack mentality. There is some people who don't believe they have the resources to, like if I were to be authentically myself, like I'm afraid people would reject me. And so that's why they let their more false persona run their life. And sadly, when people don't invest the time, energy, and effort to work through their own inner conflict about why they don't feel good enough, why aren't they more authentically themselves, why, and the whole thing is, for people who haven't had much practice of being more authentically themselves and loving, it can be really scary, because what if I am and then it doesn't work out? Then I feel like maybe at a core foundational level, someone rejected me. If I'd stayed in my defensive egoic nature, they were just rejecting kind of not my authentic self, because I didn't let that come out to play in the world. But the whole thing is, it does take practice and learning to pick yourself back up again. But also, it keeps me from actually being in those type of relationships I could dream of wanting to be in. Am I really so unwilling to put in some work and effort to figure out why, so I can free myself from it? It's just shedding light and love on it. Why don't I feel good enough? Why do I think if I were, and why don't I believe I could pick myself up? If I pick myself up when a relationship doesn't work out, even though I kind of, in my mind every day, told myself, no, 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 I don't really love them. No, 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 I'm not going to let myself get emotionally attached. No, no, no. And I can pick myself up again. Why do I think I can't pick myself up if I really did love? And maybe what they don't see the truth of is if they really were to be more authentic and loving, relationships would maybe move forward for them. But eventually people do listen to their intuition, and they kind of have conflict moving forward with them because they don't feel like they're being truthful and authentic and just and fair. And it can seem a little more emotionally shallow and superficial, and that's why people don't want to stay in the relationship with them. But they could be unwilling to see the truth of that. And again, some people give these things that they have in the world. Well, I'm attractive. I'm very social. I have a lot of social clout. I could be a shining star in the world. I could have a lot of money or something. And they keep thinking that's why people should want to be in a relationship with people. Because that could be why they kind of get in relationships with people. But not everybody thinks that way. Other people want to be in loving, inspiring relationships based on love. And they're like, what? I thought it's all about competing in the world and trying to have these certain traits, characteristics, and assets so people want to be in a relationship with you. And that can just be how they view life. And I think some of these people will probably end up in a relationship with someone who is like themselves, kind of on the same maturity level, views life. Because sometimes people are trying to get people who are more emotionally mature and stable and inspiring than they really are. And they really should get in a relationship with someone who's kind of on the same emotional maturity level as them. And then they might realize what it's like to be in a relationship with someone who's like themselves. It's all about the world. It's all about the ego and the image. I kind of feel like I only have half of the things that I wanted in the world because I thought for sure those things were all that mattered. But now I don't have loving, supportive, maybe encouraging people in my life. And, sometimes, people got to drive their life off into the ditch to see the truth. Don't hold your breath for anybody who's like that. Some people always make their life about that. And that is the most important thing. And so long as they can find someone who is willing to move forward with them in a relationship for their own reasons and just balance out their emotions, that the other person operates more from their ego nature, if that person's willing to move forward with them in a relationship, then they're on the same page. Some other people weren't. The other people have a different dream. That's not my dream life. That's not my dream type of relationship. If that's yours, enjoy it. I hope you're happy. But I want to be with people who are more balanced, not tipped out of balance, who are more just and fair, have hope and faith and belief and love. Those are the people I want to spend my time with. So there you go, Aries. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.